The sand will completely disappear in about a couple of weeks. It'll just be a rock beach all the way up. So the sand. Summertime, you got a big, nice beach there. Not the best beach to swim at by any means, any time of year, but it'll be a nice sandy beach there. In wintertime, that completely disappears. So. All right, go ahead.
Is there a time of year that's more wet than the others?
Wintertime. Yeah, we're coming into late fall, into early spring. You get a lot more rain during, especially on this side of the island. This is our wet side of the island, but to me it's more beautiful. It gives it a lot more lush and green. I love this side of the island. It's a little too far for me to live, to drive back and forth to work, but
right.
If I could choose a place and not have to work, this is where I would definitely live. So. This is all Hyena Town along the coast right through here. We'll get up here, I'll make another turn. This is the biggest waves we get on the island are right here. This is called tunnels. And tunnels is written up as one of our better snorkeling spots on the whole island just due to the fact it can be beautiful, but that is only during the summertime. Please do not go in there right now. If you look at how the water's coming in, you see it turns and goes out. That's just like a whitewater river right there. You will definitely be swept out. And so unfortunately they don't tell people that. There's no lifeguard there either. So I don't touch that in the wintertime. Pro surfers end up out here, and that's about it. Bring that back around on the left. Now, did you guys ever see the movie called Soul Surfer? About the 13-year-old girl that had her arm bitten off by the shark?
No.
You didn't see it? Alright, so you got to go back and watch that when you get home. Don't watch it now. When you get back home, but the story is a 13-year-old girl, she's a surfer here in Kauai, and that's where it actually took place. And it's not like Jaws, so it's not a gross, type of, they actually do that very well, but she's a pro surfer, lost her arm, came back, still is a pro surfer, still surfs that all the time. I tell people that because a lot of people know that movie. A lot of it was filmed here in Kauai. You'll see the little church in Honolulu, the little green church, and a lot of places.
Oh yeah, we're right by there.
Yeah. It's a cool movie to go back and watch for a couple of years. It's an inspiring story. A very impressive lady. She still surfs that. She's getting ready to have her second child. Does a lot of good with the youth here in Kauai. Now, right in front of us, this is Princeville, right here. So you see the big white building on the point. That's the St. Regis. Next time you guys come, rent out the presidential suite. It's only $8,900 a night. Don't forget about your buddy Brian, okay? How do you not get the whole building for $8,900 a night? I can't even imagine. And of course, just to the right of Princeville, the Crescent-shaped bay, Honolulu Bay. Definitely one of my favorite places to spend time. Of course, summertime, that's really flat water. I was saying earlier, it's an easy place to paddleboard, kayak, go up the river. This time of year, the waves really start to pick up, and that's where I learned how to surf at, was right there in Honolulu. So it's Theresa, you saw the movie South Pacific, this beach right here in front of us. This is called Lumahai Beach. I'm going to take you guys right over the top of it, but in the movie South Pacific, that was Nurse's Beach. That was where she washed him right out of her hair. So if you didn't see that, it sounds really strange. I know. I promise I'm not making that up, though.
I was in the South Pacific play when I was in high school.
Were you really? Yeah.
So I know just about all the songs. So I know what you're talking about.
I had never seen that movie till I moved here, and everybody kept talking about it. And I was like, well, I've got to go back and check that movie out. So. Lumahai is not a good beach to swim at all. You can see it's a very rough shore break right through there. Even during the summertime when the seas are calm, that's a pretty rough spot. Of course, you look straight down on either side of the helicopter, you see all these flooded fields below us. These are taro fields. I'm sure you saw a lot of the taro here in Honolulu. All of our fields, taro fields here in Kauai grow on this side of the island. That's how they grow them. It's like a rice field. Any of you guys had a chance to try the poi, purple mushy stuff?
No.
So it comes from the root of the taro. A lot of the taro, you use it in different ways and different foods and things like that, but the poi is probably the most famous, and not for a good reason, because if you ever go to a luau, you want to try it. It's a starch comes out of the root where they grind that. You'll see it at restaurants in town, and also in grocery stores, don't go pay extra money for it, because unless you really, really loved Elmer's glue when you're 5 years old, you're not going to care much for it. It's a very bland taste, and it's a strange texture. But two things: if you like it, it's very, very good for you. There's a lot of nutrients. Probably one of the reasons that the Polynesians were able to sustain life here when they came. They brought that with them. The other thing is, if you like it, chances are you have Hawaiian blood in your in your history. It's the only ones that seem to like the poi, but I always recommend give it a try.
Not too big.
Beautiful story. One of my favorites in Hawaiian history is if you go back and look it up, how the Polynesians were first introduced to the taro plant and what it actually means to the family. Each part of that plant is part of the family, and I thought that was a beautiful story. Some beautiful waterfalls coming out. You guys can see these from Honolulu, yeah, up in the mountains. So get up close. You know, the one right in the middle, that's Namalo Kama. That's the one that's usually flowing. All these others are just because we're having the rain. And Namalo Kama, you're seeing about 2/3 of it. Just pretty common. It's rare to see the whole waterfall, but it is one of the tallest waterfalls in Hawaii. It's over 2,400 feet tall. Make some turns, bring it on both sides.
To find a place that's better still. Now I know I never will.
This mountain right in front of us is Mamalahoa. Actually was, Hawaiians believe that was one of their goddess of forest and hula, and she took the form of that mountain.
The canyons of Waimea, standing all alone. The magic.
You guys that have been here 3.5 weeks ago, you wouldn't have seen any of these. Even the main waterfall in the middle, these just come and go with the rain, but the one in the middle, Namalo Kama, it was completely gone, completely dried up 3.5 weeks ago.
Wailu River Valley is where I used to play. Canyons of Waimea, standing all alone. The magic of the garden now is calling me back home. It's calling me.
This next valley we're coming into is one of my all-time favorites. Days like today when we can get in here. You look across the valley, you see the power lines through there. So between the power lines and this ridge right here, this is Honolulu Valley. It's a conservation area, protected area, so there's no roads and no hiking trails through here. The only way to actually see this is just to fly through it. And one of the things I love so much about this valley, look how lush and green everything is. Really easy to see why we define Kauai as the Garden Island. Of course, it's almost always raining back here, but you can see through it today. That makes it extra special. Numerous waterfalls all the way through here. This big one coming up on the left-hand side. The Sava is Pakoa Falls right there. Coming up along the right-hand side. Nice waterfalls all along the right side right here. And I'll bring some more up on the left side in just a moment. And you guys that saw the last Jurassic Park movie, this is where almost all the aerial videography was done with a helicopter in that movie. So if you go back and watch that movie, a lot of these points you'll see in the background as the helicopter flies past it. Definitely look a little closer at the helicopter in that movie too. It's going to look exactly like the one you guys are flying in because it's ours. And so they just take our name off the top of it, leave the paint scheme, paint color exactly the same way. And so I flew that same helicopter here in Kauai, also on the Big Island. That's where it's at right now. Of course, you guys have figured out by now I'm still a 5-year-old kid at heart, so of course I had to go out and buy the Lego set for Jurassic World because it has my helicopter Legos, right? Beautiful waterfall.